Square Cow Countdowns. Aloha viewers, Ivy/Raptor, and the topic for this episode be the top 10 best combat systems. So before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's check out the rules. No actual fighting games are allowed on this list, so Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat are out. Also, no first-person shooter games like Halo or Call of Duty. These have to be games that I've actually played, and each of these games are designed to represent their entire franchise, not just an individual game, unless I say so otherwise. And by the way, meet my new friend, Spoiler Llama. Anytime Spoiler Llama pops up, it means that there might be spoilers coming up. Kinda straightforward, isn't it? I think we understand each other now, so let's get this party started. Number 10. Final Fantasy X. Sometimes change is good, such as Final Fantasy X's combat system. It got a major facelift from its predecessors. Before, you had to wait your turn as if you're trying to ask a question in class. But now, you still have to wait, only you have a sort of sixth sense while doing it. Now you can actually see how the turns will play out before they even happen. You can also swap characters in mid-battle and incorporate that into how the turns will play out. The amount of new and interesting strategies that these new features allows for is endless, and I could go on and on forever about how amazing this facelift is. But I won't, because we've got 9 others to talk about still. 9 other combat systems, not facelifts. Number 9. Skyrim. Again, I'm saying Skyrim because from what I experienced of the previous Elder Scrolls games, it seemed like there was much less development put into the combat. For example, in Morrowind, your weapon only swung one way, exactly the same every time. It made it feel like you were just poking enemies. But in Skyrim, you actually swing your sword as if you know what you're doing. Morrowind did have some nifty things about items, such as sword length, as well as more kinds of weapons, like polearms or spears. But where adventure is concerned, the combat in Skyrim is so much more thrilling that it sucks you in. Almost like a time machine. That's it! Skyrim is the key to traveling through time! I mean, I start playing at 8 AM, and then 5 minutes later it's midnight. If that's not time travel, I don't know what is. What? What are you all, skeptics? Come on, live a little bit. Number 8. Diablo III. The recipe for this game is slightly different than the previous games. Less adventure, more epic action. You're always fighting groups of enemies, very seldom actually one-on-one. You want an example? Okay, here's footage of Diablo I combat. Here's footage of Diablo II combat. And now here is combat from Diablo III. It's like a quantum leap. This game was definitely worth the wait. Speaking of worth, Blizzard, don't you think it's about time you stop tinkering around with World of Warcraft and start working on something that's actually worth playing? Like, for instance, 2 or 3 DLC packs for Diablo 3. Hint, hint. Number 7. Tomb Raider 2013. Tomb Raider's combat is like ordering a pizza. You can customize everything. As you progress through the game, more and more things become available, such as fire arrows and grenade launchers. You can also choose what modifications to apply to your guns as you go. If you want 3-round burst, pull a Nike and just do it. And while we're on the subject of guns, Lara has some really nice ones. Oh, wait, you already know that, since she was on my sexiest video game girls list. Anyway, the combat is very well done, since the whole time you play it, you never lose sight of the fact that you'll still have to survive the island, even if you manage to defeat everyone. Number 6. Resident Evil 4. I love the weapon system in this game. There's all kinds of cool ones, and you keep upgrading them until the creepy merchant guy has a completely different, stronger version. The game has a 1 versus 1,000 aspect that never lets you feel safe and always keeps you on your toes. I mean, figuratively speaking with that last part. The only thing I think the game would have benefited from is the ability to switch between weapons and grenades faster, or at least without having to open the inventory, which is why it's only at number 6. Now, even though both Resi 4 and Tomb Raider are survival games, Resi's is a less realistic kind of survival, since you're the only one that has guns. I mean, unless you count Ashley's. who, again, was on my sexiest video game gurus list, which you probably don't care about at this particular moment. Yeah, perhaps we ought to move on.
Number 5.
Batman, Arkham series. Wait, Breadfish? No, it was supposed to be Arkham Asylum footage. I guess my YouTube downloader grabbed this stupid random ad instead. What the hell is the significance of this anyway? Oh wait, here we go. This fighting system is one of the kind I call a hero helper. It helps the hero seem like even more of a badass than they might already be. They really did a great job designing it. The second I threw my first punch, I instantly felt like I had just become Batman. And it's so cool. I mean, he can stun people with his cape. That's awesome! Although completely ridiculous. It's like they tore comic book style fighting right out of an issue of Batman.
Number 4.
Devil May Cry. Dante is a beast. He's got a massive sword and 2 guns. That's like 2 worlds colliding. Now normally in a game, it's either swords or guns, but rarely ever both. That alone made the combat cool, but when you take into account how easily he can shift between using guns and swords, it's even better. Devil May Cry's combat system is quick, innovative, and extremely well polished. Unlike me, because I can't think of a witty way to end this. Spoiler Llama, you got any ideas? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Number 3.
Super Smash Bros. I've never really considered these games as fighting games. I know they are, but they're so different than the typical ones. Besides, their combat system is just so damn good that it seemed like a crime not to include them on this list. It's like the developers thought, health bars, we don't need no stinking health bars. KOs, we don't need no stinking KOs. People probably thought they were crazy, but man, oh man, did it ever work. These games are so much fun. Except when people play cheap and camp in the corner taunting over and 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 over and
Number 2.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Think God of War, but even more savage. Kratos may have been designed to represent ruthless savagery, but his fighting style is tame when compared to Wolverine's. He can lunge, he can throw, he can, lunge... Wait, I said that already. No, but seriously. Wolverine's claws don't have as much range as Kratos' blades, so instead, he's able to leap halfway across the battlefield and attack enemies. He can also use the environment as a weapon. If you aim properly, you can knock, slam, or throw your enemies into spears and other lethal hazards. God of War might be more popular, but its combat system is kind of... meh. Especially if you've played this game, which, if you haven't, go do something about that. Cause it's frickin' sweet. You know what else is freaking sweet? Tootsie Roll Pops. And recaps. Number 10, Final Fantasy X. Number 9, Skyrim. Number 8, Diablo III. Number 7, Tomb Raider 2013. Number 6, Resident Evil 4. Number 5, Batman Arkham series. Number 4, Devil May Cry series. Number 3, Super Smash Bros. Series. And number 2, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Which brings us to...
Number 1.
Dead Island. I know I might get a lot of criticism for this, but out of all the games I've played, Dead Island's combat is by far the best. It's innovative, it's addicting, it's intense, it's... I'm out of adjectives. But I think you get my point. And because each character specializes in a different kind of weapon, you're able to experiment with them and decide which playstyle you prefer. When it comes down to it, your choices are to sever, smash, or shoot. Or smack, if you're playing Riptide, where there's the new hand-to-hand guy. I prefer to sever, like I did to your mom's... hair last night. Yeah, that's right, I gave your mom a haircut. What are you gonna do about it? So basically, that's all there is. There isn't any more. I know, you want more, right? Well, if you're new to my channel, click upon this button to find an archive list of all the other countdowns I've done, otherwise known as a playlist. Hopefully that will tide you over until the next one, because this is the end.